Now, back in August, when the PMI changed the PMP exam, about 30% of the exam changed, a few minor changes. People kind of backpedal. They're like, I'm just going to hold on a little bit. I'm not going to take the PMP exam just yet. And now, they've probably forgotten a ton of all that they studied before August. Why? Because they let it rest. When you're trying to get something done, you need to remember that there is a law called the law of momentum. And basically, the law of momentum is your best friend as a leader of yourself. So, you need to keep the momentum running, moving, charging along. If you don't keep that momentum moving, you're just going to rest on your laurels. And before you know it, all of that great stuff that you put in your head is going to vanish. So let me tell you, this is why you are not PMP certified right now. There's a reason why you're not certified. And the reason is you aren't keeping the momentum going. You're resting on your laurels. Whether it's the PMP, the PGMP, the PMI RMP, there's a reason why you're not certified. There's a reason why you've not gotten that degree yet. And I'm not talking about financial reasons. Now, some people have legit reasons why things are a bit hard. Nonetheless, you need to have a disposition to the fact, because it is a fact, that you can do anything you set your mind to. When you put the right power, when you put the right frame of mind into the situation, you can do it. So the reason why you're not certified, let me just sum it up in one sentence. You are not putting momentum to work in your career or in your life or in what you're aspiring to do. Now, lots of times I talk about the PMP exam, right? Because I train the course. But let's even go a step further. How about those things that you've been trying to accomplish for the past 5 years, 6 years, 10 years? There's a reason why you are not accomplishing it. And the summary is you are not putting momentum into action. You can also say you are not trying to get it done. You can also say you are not getting it done with passion. You see, when you put passion into the picture, it changes the lackluster nature of your efforts. It makes your effort so much more magnified when you do it with passion. So if you're trying to get certified as a project manager, you're trying to get a degree, maybe it's in health information science, maybe you're trying to become a lawyer, you need to put passion into your actions, into your endeavors, and only then are you going to see 100-fold result. I don't care how many times you study the book. I don't care how many times you study the PMBOK guide. If you don't do it with passion and an intent to learn and put the law of momentum into play, you're simply wasting your time. Don't even waste your time if you're not going to do it with passion. Anything that you do in this life that you really want to achieve, you really want to get great success in it, you have to do it with passion. So let's talk about the whole process in getting certified. Let me ask you this. How did you get your contact hours? Did you truly, honestly, truly go for a 35 contact hour course where you completed all the work in one sitting? Did you do that? If you did, that's alright. There's nothing wrong in going for a 5-day course. We have 5-day courses all the time. Nothing wrong in it. But my question to you is, while you are in that 5-day course, are you just sitting down, getting the information into your head, and then going back home or going back to your hotel room and not regurgitating it? If you go for a 5-day course, you absolutely need to regurgitate the stuff daily. You need to say it back to yourself. You need to recite it. You need to be opening up your PMBOK guide or your study guide or listening to the Project Management Audio Digest every single day that you get done with anything you're learning. For example, you studied integration, chapter 4. You need to study chapter 4 again when you get back at the end of the day. I'm only telling you how this will work. Otherwise, you would have spent 120 hours away from your family, away from your work, in a 35 contact hour course without getting anything tangible from it. You have to go all the way. And going all the way is not just sitting down in class and listening to a talking head. God forbid, I hope your instructor is not a talking head, because there needs to be interaction. And one of the contact hour courses I hate the most are those where you can't ask questions. Because if you have questions, you need to ask them. So 120 hours away from your family for 5 days in a 35 contact hour course. I'll ask you the question, 120 minus 35, how many hours have you got left? You've got quite a few hours left. Don't spend the whole time relaxing and sleeping. I know it's a tedious thing, but to get the most from your 35 contact hour course, you have to put in more time than the time you just spend in the class. Okay? This is very important. Now, one of my students, his name is Ashwin, great guy. He got done with the PMP exam a few days, perhaps a week and a day or so, after the PMP course that we offered to his team. And the question I asked was, how on earth did you get this done so quick? Lots of your colleagues are getting this done in 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, some even 13 months, instead of being as quick. So I'm like, how did you do it? He's like, well, as I was attending the course, I was studying. I didn't just go back to my hotel room and not do anything. I studied. I got into the zone. So what he did was create momentum. You get done with integration, you read integration. You get done with cost, you read cost. You don't say, oh, my head's hurting, I can't go any further. You need to get into the mind of whoever is writing those exam questions that you will encounter on the day. But you don't need to wait until the course is over. Do it as you go through the course. Now, I'm only, I know people have work, but I'm only telling you the truth. I know that you get out of the 35-hour course for day 1 and you've got 100 emails. Yeah. I know the story. I've been there. I've done that. But I'm telling you, if you really want to succeed, get into the zone. You're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to push yourself hard. I mean, being a PMP, to some people, they spread it out over 5 years, 10 years. I have someone's like, oh, I've been trying to get this done for a very long time. But he never really went for a course where he was put in the fast lane. And the good thing is, when he came to our course, he got it done. He was the first person to get certified. And sometimes you only need to get the right course. So, let me tell you this. If you're really looking for a great, fantastic, absolutely electric, energized course, you might want to go to www.praizion.com. Go to praizion.com and ask for more information. Project management is already kind of a laborious topic. Let's be honest here. I mean, who wants to draw Gantt charts all day long? I'd rather be playing World of Warcraft or something else. But the truth is, project management could be made more interesting if only you have an engaging instructor and an engaging course. And that's what we offer. So go to that website, alright? Check it out and make up your mind that you will not subject your team to 35 hours of torture. You want it to be 35 hours of pleasure. Alright? So the contact hour course you go for is critical for your success. Some people try to cut it short and just do a 2-day course and try to patch it up with studying on their own. That's all well and good. It's equally alright if You keep the momentum going all the way through the 2-day course. And this time you have to be absolutely on steroids in that course. You have to be really cranking out material after the day is over. So my advice is, before you go for your 35 contact hour course, get into the zone. Make up your mind that no one is going to disturb you. Emails aren't going to be, a hindrance or stumbling block to you. Alright? Have I talked about contact hours enough now? Good. Let's move on. So, you're done with the contact hour course, right? You got into the zone. You studied after the course at the end of each day, right? You did all the quizzes, and mind you, still talking about the contact hour course, it's absolutely important to have continuous assessments throughout your contact hour course to find out if you really understand what you're studying and what you're being taught, or if it's going in one ear, coming out of the other ear. What's the point of going for a course where you don't have assessments or you don't have a mock exam? You see, our course gives you that. Continuous assessments, and if we see that you haven't mastered the stuff, we tell you what to do. Alright? So talking about study habits, all of the materials that you get from the course, don't just throw them into a box and say, I'm not going to study this anymore, and move on to fresh material that you feel you need to study. No. You absolutely need to milk the materials that you've got. The courseware, be it CDs, be it a book. Don't jump from material to material to material. It doesn't help. In the long run, you only end up confusing yourself. My suggestion is go with a reliable option and stick with it and stay with it. Alright? That's what you need to do. And then for your study habits, you need to set a goal. Now, as you set a goal, maybe your goal is, I'm going to get PMP certified by the 31st of December. Okay, that's your goal. But what are your objectives that will lead you to that goal finally? Are you going to study for 1 hour a day? Well, you'll get a 1 hour a day reward. Are you going to study for 1 hour a day and be half there and half looking at Oprah or something else on TV? Oh, she's not on TV anymore. Except you've got her channel. Maybe you're watching Piers Morgan. Okay. So the question is, how concentrated are you for the time you spend studying? Do you really get a 1 hour reward, or do you get a 30-minute reward? Do you get a 5-hour reward for studying 5 hours in a day, or do you get a 2.5-hour reward because half of the time you're not there, or the phone's ringing, you're half on the phone, half doing something else? I'll give you a little trick here. If you really, absolutely, positively mean business when you're studying, what you need to do is get out of your comfort location. Now, lots of people have comfort locations. Funny story, my sister's comfort location was to read on the bed, just lying down. Sometimes she'll be upside down reading, and my mom would be like, that's not how to study. You need to get off that bed and sit down at a table and read. But that was her way of studying. Needless to say, as I evolved, I began to realize I needed to come out of my comfort zone. Being on the couch with a remote in one hand and trying to study ain't gonna work. What you have to do is get out of your comfort location, which is usually where you would fall asleep easily, or where you would just forget about what you're doing. Now for me, I get the best results when I go out of my way to study. I go to the library. Or I go to work. Now I've taken so many certifications. My study habits have evolved over the years, but right now I get the best results when I really go out of my way to sit down in a quiet place in the library or at work and focus. Study. Now, studying isn't just reading. Studying is going into the detail, asking yourself, why was this said? Do I really understand what is being said? And if you don't understand, you dig for the detail. It's so funny, people think you can study the PMBOK guide by just whizzing through it. Of course you cannot do that. How on earth are you going to take the aggregate of different minds, different contributions of project managers over the past 30 plus years and digest it just like that? Of course you're not. You're going to have to spend some time. Remember, the PMBOK guide is peer reviewed. It's got the input of hundreds of people, project managers like you and me. So how on earth is it going to be easy to digest it? There's going to be topics in there that are very easy for you, but there's going to be other topics such as earned value management or TCPI that you've got no clue about. For example, the page that talks about the 3 EACs. Lots of people actually take the exam without fully understanding what those 3 EACs are, without understanding what cumulative CPI or SPI actually means. There's a lot to digest. So get ready to digest the information by studying the detail, going deep, pushing it to the limit, keeping the law of momentum at work. Keep rolling with it. Don't stop. Keep it moving. Alright? Now, I'm not just talking about activity. I'm talking about really putting your mind to it, being concentrated, digging deep, being serious about it. Alright? Now, the good thing about studying is once you study hard with intent to learn, it will stick in your head. In fact, right now, the PMBOK guide, the 42 processes, the 5 process groups, the 9 knowledge areas, and the definitions of those ITTOs, I don't even need to read them. They're stuck in my head. Why? Because I have studied over and over again with an intent to learn. 5 certifications later, in project management, in IT, in different aspects of scheduling, I don't even need to open a PMBOK guide anymore because I went through the right process the right way. Okay? So you need to study. You need to study. I mean, a 1-hour reward is nothing when you've got a 4-hour exam that is based on a body of work that you could study for the next 100 hours. So you definitely need to cover your bases. Put in the time. Put in the time and don't try to avoid it. Okay? My suggestion is at least 3 hours a day. For example, if I've got a target to get certified in the next 4 weeks, I honestly don't see how studying any less than 3 hours a day will cut it for me personally. I mean, I really have to apply myself. There's so many things I need to master in the material. Why wouldn't I study 3 hours? Okay, let's say you study 2 hours. Because 1 hour, if you spend an hour, I mean, you need to spend time taking quizzes, taking mock exams. And if you do that, I mean, the hour's gone. I mean, there's no time left. So, my advice, 3 hours. Okay? Now, the days leading up to the exam, don't relent in your efforts. You need to keep on. You need to keep on that full court pressure. You need to keep your foot on the gas. Right? You need to keep on applying yourself all the way to the end. Don't relent. Now, most importantly, because this is where a lot of people just mess up all their good work, it's not just the days leading up to the exam. It is a day before the exam. Now, a day before the exam, what do you want to be caught doing? Not studying like a madman, no. Not studying like a mad woman either. What you need to be doing is taking it easy. Now, if I'm taking an exam, let's say today's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday, right? It's Friday at 8 a.m. Anything you want to get into your head, or anything you want to revise, because getting new stuff into your head the day before, I don't really think it's of much benefit. Some people say it helps. I don't know about that. I feel that 3 days before your exam, if you haven't gotten to a point of perfection, you've got no point taking the exam. Reschedule. Go to the Prometric website and reschedule. Okay? So a day before the exam, what are you supposed to be doing? Taking it easy. Very, very light revision. By then you should have a cheat sheet where you can scan over the stuff, just revise it at a very high level, very quick. Now, if I'm taking my exam on Saturday at 8 a.m. and today's 8 a.m. on Friday, I should be done by 5 or 6 p.m. on that Friday. Now, from 6 to 12, what should I be doing? Maybe playing a video game if you're into that stuff. If you're a gamer, have fun playing some games. If you like watching movies, watch a movie. If you like, going for a walk or playing some other games, do that. If you like playing basketball, go out, free your mind. You need to free your mind the night before. Because if you keep on cramming stuff into your head leading up to the day, you're going to have a brain freeze. I'm telling you. I'm not wishing anyone bad or anything. I'm just telling you the honest truth. It's happened to me. It's not a good thing to do. Sometimes I have to kick myself out of the car seat telling myself, Phil, get into the exam and stop studying. It's too late. It's too late. Your fate is already drawn out. You should have had better study habits. Okay? So have that mindset. Day before the exam, 6 p.m., I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to chill out. I'm going to relax. Now other people are like, well, Phil, what would you say if I had my exam at 12 in the afternoon? Well, same thing. My recommendation to you is take the day off. The day before, take it off work and just relax. Just relax. There's nothing like a really nice relaxed day off. Just having fun, freeing up your mind. That could really make or break the exam. Because if you keep stressing yourself and you have a brain freeze, it's going to be awful. You don't want that to happen. So 3 days, rule of thumb, 3 days before the exam, everything you need to get into your head, everything you need to have mastered, all the quizzes you need to have done, or the mock exams, to ensure that you are absolutely good to go, you should have done that 3 days before. Whether you're taking the PMP or the CAPM or any other exam. Alright? Finally, the exam. Now, the reason why some people are still not PMPs is because there's been some mishap on the exam. Now, it's not a problem. You need to find the errors that you made. What went wrong? And I've helped lots of people do this. People who might have taken the exam using other solutions and not done very well. They tell me, look, this is what I did. Where did I go wrong? And I'm very quickly able to tell them where the problem may be. They go back to the drawing board, try it again, and then they do well. They pass the exam. Now, what I will tell you about the exam is, first of all, get to the exam venue early. Don't get there in a panic. Don't get there with your head in a twirl. You want to be absolutely concentrated on the exam and nothing else. You don't want to have to be fanning yourself to calm down and cool down. You need to be calm the moment you get to the venue. Alright, that's step one. Make sure you have a second check of all the materials that you need to have, be it the letter, the ID, and what have you. When you get into the exam, you need to have a level head. You can't afford to freak out when you see the first crazy question. Because I'm telling you, there are crazy questions on this exam, I tell you. I mean, one of my students said, what human being could have written such a dumb question? And that's putting it mildly. I probably shouldn't even tell you what he said. I can't even say it on here. But the truth is, you will find some crazy questions on the exam. You need to keep your calm. You need to take a best gut guess and move on. Some questions, regardless the time you spend trying to fathom what on earth are they talking about, you still won't be able to answer it. So move on. Move on. Now, you'll come across questions that you feel you might know, but you can't find your answer in those listed. Same thing. You're just going to have to move on. And if you've got enough time, you could come back if you remember something specific that you're absolutely 100% sure you did not remember at first. But a big no-no is don't second guess yourself. Doing that is really shooting yourself in the foot. Because I'm a strong believer in going with your gut guess. If you don't have the rationale down to a T, and you had a gut guess at first, go with it. Because the more you change your answers, the more you're doing yourself in. Alright? So, go with your gut. In cases where you don't know the answer cold, go with your gut. Alright, so when you get done with the exam and you're having your final review and you're sure that you're not second guessing and changing answers, because that kills, you hit the end button, and what's going to happen? Success. If you've done everything I'm telling you to do, you go for your contact hour course, you go for your full-blown study. In fact, you need to draw out a study timetable, because it has to be a full-blown continuous study, not a namby-pamby study. Here's an example of a namby-pamby study. Monday you read integration halfway. You don't take any quizzes. Tuesday you read another line of integration. Wednesday you take a quiz, you fail it. You don't look at the answers to see why you got the answers wrong. You just say, oh, I'll do better next time. That's not enough. That's not how to study. You have to be studying all the way to the finish. If possible, study a knowledge area a day. Don't study one knowledge area over 3 days, except it's a very deep area where you're having a lot of trouble. If it's just because of plain laziness, or just because you didn't set your priorities straight, or you didn't have a good calendar, study calendar to follow, then you need to think again. Alright? So I think I've spoken enough. You know what to do. I've told you, if you've got any questions, any concerns about any of the courses you've been for, maybe you've taken the exam, you didn't do well the first time, you want to do well the next time, send an email. info@praizion.com. Now I wish I could go on and on, but I can't. I have to end it here. Contact us and let us know how we can help you. I wish you all the best in your studying. Wish you all the best in your endeavors. Keep the momentum going. Be it an online course, be it a face-to-face course, be it a degree program. Keep the momentum going. See it through to the end, and you'll be extremely happy you did.